What's up? You know who I am, and you know what this is. It's a tutorial on how to set up green screens, like the one behind me, so that it looks like this. Obviously, this isn't like the best it could possibly be, but if you like don't know like even where to start, or you don't have any experience with green screens, this should help you out. There's a few things I want to say ahead of time. Firstly, as you saw there, yeah, I'm using Logitech webcam software, which adjusts my lighting for me, and my settings are based on that. So if you don't have that software, I'm not saying that you should go get it, but your steps to go through this are gonna be different. Another reason your steps are gonna be different is your skin tone and what kind of clothes that you have or wear. I suggest wearing darker colored shirts personally, so that way you don't get the bleed that's a little around the edges here, and that might just be because my smoothness is a little too high, but we'll get into that. So let's start from the beginning. Okay, so here's what I start with. I'm leaving my old settings here. This one is actually, that was for when something went wrong with my lighting. But I'm leaving my old settings here, and as you can see, I have a color correction, a chroma key, and then another color correction. I have very bright lights over me, so and you might not need as much color correction as I have, but you'll probably need some depending on your conditions. So starting off, I make a chroma key. And obviously I can't name it that. Alright, so that's like not a terrible start, right? You can kind of see the background through this. And then what you'll want to do is drag things around until you start to get somewhere with it. Now, you might reach a point where like it doesn't seem like you're like gonna get your desired result, and that's where the color correction comes in. But you may also want to try hiding the source and then setting a custom color to more perfectly match your green screen color. So if I pick like one of these and unhide it, oh, can't see anything. It's getting there. It's a little better, but again, it's pretty difficult to like get everything perfect, you know. It takes time. Alright, so I think I have something about here, maybe. Another thing you can also do is, let's say you have it to where I currently do. You can also add another, add a color key, which I don't know, like, and then set another custom color, and then select screen color, and grab whatever like parts of it are missing, and then you can mess around with these settings. See, it's grabbing my shirt there. Quite a bit actually. And then finally, well, not finally, maybe for you, definitely not for me though, adding another color correction, or adding a color correction in the first place. Put that on top of your chroma and color keys, and move the hue shift around maybe. So you see where you get with that. Brightness, lowering the brightness seems to help a little. Saturation, drop saturation by just a little bit. You can see it already looks a lot better. and personally I never get these things perfect. I don't think my camera is high enough quality to be able to, and also my lighting situation is a little off, but my goal is in this to make sure that I don't have these little fuzzy bits around me. Like, this is difficult to do because of my hair. Like, that makes things a little bit extra difficult. So if you don't have like fuzzy hair, it would probably be easier for you. But alright, another thing to consider is that personally I stream at 720p, and my camera won't be this big. It'll be about like this. So this might look fine for the size. And then the last thing I do is add one more color correction. At the bottom here, and that way I can add more saturation, hue shift a little, just to get my skin to look more brown and less green. And this might actually look better than I had it previously, outside of those little bits of like dots everywhere, which again, fiddling with what color you're using, the similarity and the smoothness. The smoothness will more often than not cause color bleeding, and you'll start to become a little invisible. You do need some, but be very careful with how much smoothness that you have. A lot of times I'll have like my nose or my teeth see through because there's too much smoothness. Remember that you can click these in one by one, if you can see here. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Again, might be better than my original setup, so let's go back to default. I'll blow this up and then put on my other setup. No, that looks awful. That looks awful. I did a way better job this time. So that's how you set up a green screen. This again ended up turning out better than my original green screen. And now I have this. I'll look like me, I think. Let's see, turn off all of it. A little bit lighter, but it's alright. So real quick, the last thing that you may need to do is, depending on your setup, again, yours is always going to be different, but this is a corner right here. So, like, I could pull this around the corner and it might work, and I should probably try that. But since that is where it has to cut off and where my monitor is and where I want my webcam to be, I do have this area that's still white over here, and what I do is that's not the right source. What I do is I just cut it out. Again, not a big deal, because I'm usually in the corner of the screen, and then I usually flip horizontal so that when I look over here, I'm not looking like into like nothing. So everything's mirrored. I'm looking this way for this stuff. I have the big cup here or whatever. I can gesture in this direction, and yeah, everything works out pretty well for me. I like how good this these colors turned out. I did way better than on my own. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video or something.